In today's community building lesson, we'll be looking at an interesting community rule that I saw in the community movement gems free, which is on school.com. But before that, you might consider actually becoming a founding member to my free school community. Now, what this school community will entail, it is yet to launch, but if you fill out the form below and just give me your email so that I can actually invite you as soon as this community launches, you'll gain access to a free community that is all about community building and management and developing and honing and cultivating those skills together as a network. So if that's something that interests you, you can just fill out the form below and I'll invite you in there as soon as it launches. I should also add that if you're an aspiring community builder and or manager, you're looking to start, build, and manage your own community and you haven't done that yet, you're more than welcome to join as well, as the more the merrier, and we're looking for as many people as possible. And this rule in question pertains to an anti-churn strategy, which simply put means that you're trying to stop people from leaving your community. Before we get into the actionable steps of how to reduce churn in your community, you have to wonder why you want to commit to an anti-churn strategy. And on its surface level, it's to try to stop people from leaving your community, right? But it can also be used as an effort to stop freeloaders from exploiting your community's valuable content without returning any value of their own. So when I use the term freeloaders here, I'm referring to members that join your community just to extract the resources insofar as your course materials are concerned, perhaps your live calls, your live call recordings, and other digital valuable offers that your community has. And all this member is doing, this freeloading type member, is going into your community, extracting all of these resources, and then they're leaving and they've never given anything back to the community themselves. They've never engaged with your community in any way, shape, or form, or in any capacity for that matter. And you sort of feel as the community builder that you get the short end of the stick in this arrangement because you've created this amazing community atmosphere. You offered all this digital value, these info products, whatever the case may be for your online community. And this particular member, these freeloading type members, do not give you anything, or your community for that matter, anything back in return. And for context, we're here in Movement Gems Free, where this detail was discovered in the first place, and I'll just read it to you briefly so that you understand the full context of what this particular rule entails. So over here, the community builder Andrew says, to ensure members aren't downloading our valuable resources, then leaving, we don't allow members who've left to rejoin. Because School, the community hosting platform in question, tells us if it's someone's second time requesting access. So in essence, the anti-churn strategy that the community builder Andrew in Movement Gems Free has proposed is that you should not allow members who've left your community to rejoin again. Now, this rule isn't perfect, and I'm going to talk about some of the problems that this rule brings to the table. And the first problem that this rule brings to the table is that there's nothing stopping these freeloading members from exploiting your community's resources and just simply remaining active in the community space anyways. Andrew, the community builder here, is assuming that these freeloading type members are joining his community, they're exploiting all of his digital resources, they're downloading it and whatnot, and then they're leaving his community. But as I'm pointing out here, there's nothing stopping these freeloading type members from just simply remaining in the community, never leaving, but still extracting all of the digital resources all the same, and they would never be banned, or they're just in there for life and they can just extract as many of the resources as they want. And for context, this is a very important detail. I should specify that Movement Gems Free, the online community, is indeed a free online community, meaning that anyone can pretty much join. And this detail really matters, and I should have mentioned it earlier for that matter. This detail is really important because if anyone can join, there is no vetting process, there is no friction whatsoever. You can just join, and Andrew, the community builder, has no idea what intent you're coming into this community with. It's for that reason that you have sometimes communities will have application processes before you join a community to see if you're the right fit for that particular community, or by simply just introducing some friction, as we'll see in a later slide, you can mitigate this problem as well. Another big problem with this particular rule is that freeloading members are virtually indistinguishable from lurkers. So if you don't know what a lurker is in the context of an online community, a lurker is a type of member who doesn't engage with the community, at least in an active sense. So what I mean by that is you'll have members who are in the community, who are active, as in they're online, but they don't ever comment, post, or outreach to other members or attend in any of the live calls. They're simply lurking. They're simply laying back. They're reading the posts. They're enjoying your course materials. They're watching your live call recordings, whatever the case may be. Lurkers are just not as active as other community members are. And freeloading members are pretty much indistinguishable from lurkers. So you wouldn't want to necessarily mount a crusade against freeloading members, because in that you might also be targeting some lurkers who are just innocently enjoying your community space from the sidelines and not necessarily engaging in a traditionally active sense. If you're worried about freeloading kinds of members, you might as well charge a low ticket entrance fee for your community. That way you'd at least be getting some kind of value from these freeloading type members. At least in that case, there will be a value exchange. They get the value that they came to your community for, and you get something in return for the value that you gave them. And the problem with Movement Gems Free is that, well, given its name, it's a free community. And so anyone can join. There's no vetting process, and there simply is no friction. And one of the easiest ways to add a little bit of friction to join an online community is to introduce some kind of paywall. And here I mentioned low ticket entrance fee, but it can be anything that you have in mind, right? This is going to stop freeloaders because they won't be freeloading anymore if they're going to be paying something to be a part of your community. And note, you may reduce the number of people in your community by introducing this friction, but it's important that you charge what you're worth. The only downside with this solution is that you will be reducing the amount of people in your community if a lot of members in your community is something that you care about. But if that's less important than you actually earning your keep, you actually getting what you're worth in terms of the value that you're offering your members, then I don't see this at all as a significant sacrifice on your part. So the takeaway from this interesting community rule is don't put your valuable materials in a free community and expect members to give back, to basically donate to you in the form of their engagement. The principle of reciprocity is real, but don't underestimate the notion that people pay attention to what they pay for. So just to add some details to this lesson here, the principle of reciprocity entails the simple notion that if I do something for you, you will do something for me in exchange. You will feel compelled to exchange the value that I offered to you. And it certainly is a very real principle in life, but do not expect it to have a 100% success rate. Just because I give you something for free doesn't necessarily mean that you are going to be doing something in exchange in return for me. I can make this video for you, and there's no telling if you'd like this video or not, and I can't force you to, but the principle of reciprocity would say, because I made this video for you to teach you something valuable, that you at the very least like this video or something to that effect. Not that I'm telling you to like this video, but just to illustrate the principle of reciprocity here. And I think this lesson here, that people pay attention to what they pay for, speaks for itself. If you're charging even just a low ticket entrance fee to your community, even just something as low as $5 per month, the simple notion of someone actually paying something makes it so that that person will actually take advantage of what they're paying for, that they'll actually engage with your community. And you won't feel as if you're going to have people freeloading on your community because people will be paying you for what you're worth. So the bottom line is charge what you're worth. Don't make a free community and fill it up with tons of value if you feel like you're going to be getting the short end of the stick. There's nothing wrong with having a free community for your members, but if you're going to be filling it with tons of value, make sure that you're at least getting something in exchange. And one of the easiest things that you can receive in exchange for the value you're providing is simply to charge some kind of fare to join your community. And with that, thanks for attending today's community building lesson. Have a great day.